The call came at 12:11 a.m., just as I locked the front door for the night. I'd only owned the house for 48 hours. After years of renting apartments in Charlotte, buying this old farmhouse outside Asheville felt like the fresh start I desperately needed. My phone buzzed. Unknown caller. Hello? A woman's shaky voice answered. Is this Ethan Carter? Yes? Who's this? I'm Evelyn Harper, the woman who sold you the house. I frowned. Is something wrong? A long silence followed before she whispered. I forgot to warn you. Warn me about what? Whatever happens tonight, don't open the basement door. My eyes drifted toward the old wooden door at the end of the hallway. During the inspection, she'd claimed the basement had water damage and was sealed until repairs could be made. I hadn't questioned it. Why not? I can't explain over the phone. Then explain now. You won't believe me. Try. Her breathing became uneven. If someone asks you to unlock that door, don't listen. A chill ran through me. Who would ask? You'll find out before sunrise. The call ended. I stared at my phone. No number, no call history. It was as if the conversation had never happened. Trying to shake it off, I walked upstairs. Halfway there, I heard a faint metallic sound. Clink. I turned around. The iron padlock hanging from the basement door was slowly swinging. I was certain it had been perfectly still a moment earlier. I blamed the draft and forced myself to bed. Sleep didn't last long. At 2:18 a.m., 3 heavy knocks echoed through the house. Not from the front door, not from a window, from beneath the floor. I sat upright, holding my breath. Another knock, then silence. Morning finally arrived and daylight made everything feel ridiculous. I convinced myself exhaustion had played tricks on me. Wanting to clear my head, I walked next door and introduced myself to my nearest neighbor, an older man named Frank Donovan. After a few minutes of small talk, he asked, How was your first night? I laughed nervously. Weird. His smile faded. Did she call you? I stopped. Who? Evelyn Harper. How did you know that? Frank stared at me for several seconds before quietly saying, Because everyone who buys that house gets the same call. I frowned. Then why didn't anyone mention it? His expression turned pale. Because Evelyn Harper never had the chance. What do you mean? She died 6 weeks before your closing. Before I could respond, my phone vibrated. Unknown caller. With trembling hands, I answered. Ethan, it was Evelyn again. I told you not to tell anyone. Static swallowed her voice. Then another voice came through the speaker. A man's voice. Calm. Patient. Almost amused. Open the basement door. I'm tired of waiting. I pulled the phone away from my ear, but the voice kept speaking. You've already heard me, Ethan. Now come downstairs. The call ended. I looked at Frank. You heard that, right? He nodded. His face drained of color. I told you this house wasn't normal. What is in that basement? I don't know, he admitted. But Evelyn spent years making sure nobody opened it. Before I could ask another question, my security app sent a notification. Motion detected. Basement hallway. My blood ran cold. I don't even have a camera down there. Frank grabbed my phone. The notification disappeared before either of us could open it. Neither of us said a word. 20 minutes later, we were standing in my hallway, staring at the basement door. The padlock was still locked. The chain hadn't moved. So, what now? I asked. Frank slowly reached into his jacket pocket and handed me a small brass key. I found this buried in the flower bed after Evelyn moved out. I examined it. An old oak tree was engraved on one side. You never tried it? He shook his head. I promised her I wouldn't. Before I could respond, something slammed against the basement door. Bang! Both of us jumped back. Another hit followed. Then complete silence. I stepped closer. Hello? Nothing. Just as I reached for the chain, Frank grabbed my wrist. Don't. Maybe someone's trapped. No. Then what made that sound? Frank swallowed hard. Whatever's down there wants you to think exactly that. A cold breeze drifted through the hallway even though every window was closed. Then we both heard it. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Not behind the basement door. Upstairs. Someone was walking across the second floor. Frank looked at me. I thought you said we were alone. We are. The footsteps stopped directly above us. 1, 2, 3. Then silence. I rushed upstairs with Frank close behind. Every bedroom was empty. Every window was locked. No sign of anyone. As we turned to leave the master bedroom, I noticed something on the wall above the fireplace. Written in what looked like fresh dust were 4 words. She didn't tell you everything. I stared in disbelief. I cleaned this room yesterday. Frank slowly backed toward the hallway. Ethan. What? He pointed behind me. The bedroom mirror. A woman was standing in it. Gray hair. Pale face. The same woman from my closing documents. Evelyn Harper. She wasn't looking at me. She was staring toward the bedroom door. Terrified. Without turning around, she whispered, "It's already upstairs." The hallway behind me was empty. When I looked back at the mirror, Evelyn was gone. Only my reflection remained. Frank grabbed my arm. "We need to leave. Right now." Before we reached the stairs, every light in the house went out. Darkness swallowed everything. A second later, my phone flashlight switched on by itself. Across the screen appeared a message. "Don't go outside." I hadn't typed it. Frank hadn't touched my phone. Then the lights flickered back on. The message vanished. "What was that?" I whispered. Frank didn't answer. He was staring out the bedroom window. Parked across the road sat an old blue pickup truck. Its headlights were off. The engine wasn't running, but someone was sitting behind the steering wheel, watching the house. I blinked. The driver's seat was empty. "What did you see?" I asked. Frank shook his head. "Nothing." He was lying. Back downstairs, I noticed something that hadn't been there before. A small envelope rested on the basement chain. Written across the front were 2 words. "For Ethan." Neither of us had gone near the door. Frank carefully picked it up. Inside was a yellowed photograph. It showed Evelyn standing beside a smiling man in front of the same house nearly 30 years earlier. I turned the picture over. On the back, someone had written, "Don't let him out again." "That's Thomas," Frank said quietly. "Evelyn's husband." He nodded. "The man who disappeared." Before I could ask another question, my phone rang. Unknown caller. I answered. "Ethan." It was Evelyn. "This is the last time I can reach you." "Who is Thomas?" "He was my husband." "Is he in the basement?" "No." "Then who keeps telling me to open the door?" For several seconds she said nothing. When she finally spoke, her voice trembled. "The thing behind that door stopped being Thomas a long time ago." My heart pounded. "What is it?" "I don't know. You have to know." "I only know one thing." "What?" "It learns." The call crackled with loud static. "It listens." More static. "It becomes whoever you trust most." The line went dead. A loud crash echoed from the kitchen. We ran toward the sound. Every cabinet door stood wide open. Plates covered the floor. In the center of the room lay another note. This one wasn't addressed to me. It was addressed to Frank. His hands shook as he opened it. There was only one sentence inside. "You should have buried the key deeper." Frank's face turned white. He slowly looked at me. "I never told anyone about the key." Before I could answer, the basement padlock unlocked itself. The chain slid to the floor. Neither of us had touched it. The old wooden door creaked open. Just enough for complete darkness to stare back at us. Then, from somewhere deep below, a familiar voice called my name. It wasn't Thomas. It wasn't Evelyn. It was my younger brother, Ryan, who had died 12 years ago. My heart nearly stopped. "Ryan." The voice came again. "Ethan, please. I'm cold." Every instinct told me to run to him. I took one step toward the basement. Frank shoved me back. "No." "You didn't hear him?" I heard nothing. I froze. Only I could hear the voice. Ryan sounded exactly as he had 12 years ago. "I've been waiting for you." Tears filled my eyes. "I know you're not real." The voice laughed. For the first time, it wasn't Ryan anymore. It became deeper, older. "You finally figured it out." The darkness behind the basement door began to move, stretching across the floor like a living shadow. I pulled the brass key from my pocket. The engraved oak tree felt hot against my hand. Evelyn's final warning echoed in my mind. "It becomes whoever you trust most." Then everything made sense. The key wasn't made to unlock the basement. It was made to keep whatever was inside from ever leaving. I slammed the basement door shut. The shadow rushed forward. The entire house shook. Frank wrapped the chain around the handles while I forced the key into the old padlock. It fit perfectly. I turned it. A deafening scream erupted from below. Every window rattled. The lights exploded. Then, silence. The weight that had hung over the house since the day I moved in simply disappeared. Frank looked at me and slowly smiled. "I think it's finally over." The brass key snapped in half. Its purpose had been fulfilled. A week later, The county permanently sealed the basement entrance with reinforced concrete. Deputy Sarah Collins never tried to explain what happened, and neither did we. A few days later, I found one final envelope in my mailbox. Inside was an old photograph of Evelyn and Thomas standing in front of the house, smiling. On the back were 6 handwritten words. "Thank you for finishing what I couldn't." Months have passed since that night. The phone has never rung after midnight again. The house is quiet, peaceful. Sometimes I still pause outside the sealed basement door, not because I expect to hear knocking, but because I remember how close I came to opening it. If this story kept you hooked, hit subscribe for more original revenge and mystery stories every week. Trust me, the next one is even darker. Until next time, stay safe and never open a door someone warned you about.